Hello, hello. I know there's a commercial that plays first, so there's no point in talking. Um, okay, okay, so I got this. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Suffer Jerome, and welcome to Lunchtime Tarot Card Reading. I'm just my phone is out of juice, so I'm just plugging it in, and then I like to pull up when the thing goes through so I can see the chat room here and there because sometimes the chat on my computer gets cut off because I have it really big font so I don't have to wear my glasses. So then I keep the phone so I can notice if I'm missing anything. And also just want to say that, there we go. Okay, first, before I start in with my babbling, manage your channel from your phone. Well, I always try to. Okay, so there's the activity feed. How come it used to be that it would pop up and then it would say share? Maybe they took that away. I know they keep tinkering with the platform, and I really need to get vigilant about what the heck's happening on the platform because so many things have changed, and the various hoops you have to jump through to get various levels and stuff have changed. And but I believe you can still tip your tarot reader. I think I can still accept donations through PayPal if you click my thing. Anyways, so today is Tuesday. Tuesday, what? What Tuesday day are we? Tuesday the 15th. Yeah, 1 week from my birthday. Is my birthday on Tuesday? No, my birthday's on Wednesday next week. I was born on a Tuesday, that's what I had Tuesday on the head there. Yeah, so today's Tuesday the 15th, according to this witch almanac. We're supposed to wear black today. We're in second degree Taurus, and it says hedgehogs teach humility and, oh my God, my glasses, defense. Interesting. Hedgehogs teach humility and defense. I guess this is our thought of the day from the Witch's Almanac. They don't have thoughts every day, but for some reason that's today's thought. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, so I know no one's watching yet, I don't think. But basically, I'm Sefra Jerome. I'm a horror writer. I'm an actress. I do a lot of background performing on TV shows and movies here in Toronto. I don't do a lot, I do a bit. Some people say it's a lot for, someone who's not really serious about it. I think I did something like 19 shows last year, and I'm hoping to do about that many this year again. 'Cause it's fun, 'cause I am actually a writer. Most of my income comes from editing, and I edit other people's books. So I'm always reading. So I'm either reading my own writing or reading other people's writing and helping them create a spectacular book that they'll sell for lots of money. And so with that, I'm sitting around a lot. So, and alone a lot. So I like to do the background performing work because it gets me out of the house, and I get to meet people, and most of them are weirdos like me who also have other jobs. A lot of other people I meet in background performing are writers and actors and photographers and so on. And so we all like to network and meet people, and it's good to just get out because usually when you're on a film set, you're there for about anywhere from 4 hours to a couple of days. I think the longest I ever was on a set might have been 14 hours, maybe a little longer. I don't really remember because it wasn't traumatizing. So, I know some people have traumatic stories of, they were there for like 21 hours and then they had to rush to another job, with like half an hour of sleep or no sleep or whatever. And, it's an exciting life. It's an interesting life. It's definitely a life where if you have children, you need to have a spouse or a partner or a very cheap babysitter. Um, so that's why I came to it late in life because I did have children. In my second marriage, I had five children to deal with. So that, I didn't have flexibility that I do now, that I live alone, all the kids are gone, I'm divorced and all that. So, sorry. Hello? I thought so. God, do you guys get those? Thank you for choosing WestJet. And then it might ring in another minute. Thank you for choosing the Marriott. Like they didn't just call me. And I know it's a computer. I chose WestJet, what, like 10 years ago? I don't even know when I last went WestJet to anywhere. So I know they lie. They're lying to me, trying to get me to do whatever it is. I always hang up when they say that, so I never know what they actually want. Or I've just won something. It's like, no, I haven't. But I haven't gotten the one, maybe I'm jinxing it now, but I haven't gotten the call where you answer it and it's like beep and it's like a ship horn and then they tell you you've won a cruise or you went on a cruise and put your number in or whatever. And it's like, I've never been on a cruise and I never want to. It's I keep reading about all these illnesses people get on cruises. And, anyways, so yeah, so I was talking about background performing. See, I'm, coffee, coffee, must have more coffee. Yeah, so background performing's an interesting way of life. And then I actually, because people ask me about it a lot, I did create a course for Udemy about being a background performer. And I think it's called So You Want to Be a Background Performer. I can't remember now what I called it. But if you just go to Udemy, Udemy, and Google, Suffrage Your Own, you'll see all my courses. And I have four courses. So I have the, how to be a background performer course. And on that course, I talk about various things. I think I was starting to talk about this yesterday. Then some people came by for tarot readings, which is why I'm really here. So if you're watching and you want a tarot card reading, just say hello in the chat because I'm really here for that. But I'll just talk about other things until people want tarot card readings. So I did create the course because people do ask me a lot of questions, and it's really easy to be a background performer. Easy is a state of mind, I think, because some people really hate it. I wouldn't want to do it all the time as my main source of income because it's very exhausting. Even though most of the time you're just sitting and waiting, it can be um, I don't want to say traumatic, but it's that sense of you're waiting for something, but you don't know when it's going to happen. Because most of the time they don't know what's going to happen. Sometimes they're able to tell you, oh, you'll go to set in an hour or 2 hours, or this is what's happening, or whatever. But most of the time you're just kind of kept in the dark, as it were, and you just chit chat to your neighbors, or you read a book, or you do some writing or painting or whatever floats your boat in your little table space that you get. And so when I say it's easy, if you don't mind sitting somewhere for 12 to 14 hours and just doing what you're told. So you're doing what you're told. So you're in background holding. You can talk, you can laugh, you can do your thing. But once they take you to set, you have to be completely quiet and do what you're told. And sometimes, depending on the shoot and where you are and what's happening, you might be on the set for your full 12 hours. I've been on shows where we were doing a nightclub scene, and because holding was a few blocks down the road and it was really, really cold, we just stayed on set. But that meant if they were shooting, and since it actually was a nightclub, being a nightclub, which doesn't always happen, and it was a two-level nightclub, it was really cool. Um, so you have to be completely quiet while they're shooting in other parts of the club because the noise travels. And also you have to be very quiet. Like you just don't talk because the director's trying to give information to, the team. And the team can be quite huge because you have, if you're doing a regular Hollywood production, whether it's a TV show or whether it's a Netflix show, there's a lot of cameras, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of cables, there's a lot of crew running around doing stuff, right? So you got to shut up so they can talk to each other and get the shot set up. And then they bring the extras in to populate the scene. Then they bring the main actors in or the actors' standees, depending on what's happening. And so it can be a long process and it can be frustrating for people who don't know how to shut up to shut up. If you're not good at being quiet, and I know I talk a lot, I'm here on Twitch, talking. Um, but if you're not good at being quiet, then that's not the job for you because you have to be able to take direction. You can't talk back. You can't come and go as you please. Now, definitely, you can go to the bathroom when you want. And if you want to eat, bring food because there will be like what they call a craft table there, which is a table with, some snacks on it. And mostly standard is like a jar of peanut butter, a couple loaves of bread, some digestive cookies, oranges and apples. And then once in a while, you'll get extra treats brought by, depending on who the caterer is, what leftovers there are, what's happening in the world, and all that. And then what's I've been experiencing for the last couple of years here in Toronto is that there is you get a designated lunch or dinner. They usually call it lunch, even if it's like 8 at night or whatever, because of the way they do the scheduling. And I talk a bit about that in my course too. And so you will get a really nice meal at some point, but you don't know when that'll be usually. Sometimes you know. As you get in the business more and you can figure things out, usually the meal is 6 hours after the crew has signed in for work. So if the crew starts at 6 in the morning, the lunchtime will probably be at noon. But sometimes things happen and they push it 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. So if you're the type of person that gets hangry when you're hungry, just bring some snacks, bring some snacks and just enjoy the day and meet some new weirdos and meet the freaks like you are. Make some friends. I've made several friends over the years. And several of them were now Facebook friends too, and it's kind of cool. And then you kind of get to know people because it is a lot of the same people over and over. Um, if you're living in the same city and doing this for years. I did Love Guru back, what, in the 80s when Love Guru was there. That's about the only show I did back then because, like I said, I had children. It was really difficult. You don't get paid well. I think back then we got $8 an hour, and it wasn't worth it. I had to park downtown Toronto back in those days, and there was no parking around that area. That was cheap. So I ended up paying $21 a day. I think it was 3 days in a row we did Love Guru. And I think I actually paid to be on that show. It's really long hours, but I remember the parking like eating up most of the money, then just travel time. And I didn't have to pay a sitter, I don't think I did back then. I can't remember. But yeah, so it's definitely, you got to be in there for the long haul. You just can't decide, well, I'm done for the day. You can't just leave when you think you want to leave. Um, you get blackballed, you won't work again. So, just go with a good attitude. Hey, make some friends, read a book, you know, play games on your phone. Bring lots of extra phone batteries because you probably won't be able to plug in anywhere unless you're being shot in a mall. And even then, where they put you may not have access to outlets. So always plan ahead for that sort of thing. So here I am giving you a course on background performing. Wow, I guess I'm sure I'm online. Yeah, it's green. The thing's clicking. Yeah, so I actually came on at lunchtime, and I guess everybody's having lunch or at work. I know we're in January. I went to a cool class yesterday. It's called Caribbean Spice over at our gym over at Humber, and it was. I thought it was going to be kind of like a Zumba class, and it was in a way because the Zumba classes here in Toronto that I've taken. I've taken them at Good Life and I've taken them at Humber. They're an incorporation of all kinds of dancing, so we do a lot of Caribbean and African dances in under the Zumba umbrella. And so some of the moves we learned weren't unusual to me because I've done them before in these classes, but it was a lot of fun. That was really fun class. And if you're in Toronto, this teacher teaches on Tuesday nights at Humber North Campus for the Caribbean Spice. I think if you just Google Caribbean Spice, you'll see it. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we got free water bottles. So I got a little prize for going. It has the nice little loop on it. Yeah, I was happy. I didn't know I was going to get a water bottle, and so that was cool because I have a couple of water bottles, but I don't have one this size. And this is like a really cool size, and I can clip it onto my backpack or whatever's happening. And this one probably fits in my car thing. Although, oh my God, we're in Toronto. I don't know how the rest of the world's doing, but we have. Oh, and if you're looking in and you want a tarot card reading, just say hi and I'll get you one. But yeah, so here in Toronto, we're having like a huge blitz to crack down on jerks driving, asshole drivers, really is what it is. And like ever since cell phones were invented, we've had the you can't talk on the cell phone when you drive thing. We've had that all along. But I can't tell you how many times I'm driving around and people are talking on their cell phones. Like they're right there. And it's like it's against the law, dudes. So now, as of January 1st, the fine for talking on your cell phone while driving is $650 for first offense. No warnings, it's zero tolerance. So starting this week, what's today's Tuesday? Yesterday was Monday. So starting yesterday until February 1st, it's zero tolerance for cell phones. So even if you're looking at it for the map or you touch it for something, $650. You're screwed, man. They were showing people on the news yesterday, like crying. And it's like, yeah, I would cry too, because that's more than my rent. It's like, holy crap. I'm lucky to live where I live with the rent that I have because I'm in an artist co op. But yeah, I couldn't afford any $650. So I'm not even going to use my maps anymore on the phone. I just started using my maps over the last couple years. And even though I never touch the phone or look at it, I just have it yelling at me and I have it on the front seat. But now I have one of those mounted things. So I put it in there because I bought one of those mounted things a few weeks ago. And yeah, I put the maps thing on there. But I think I might even just not even do that. Because, oh my God, I have this one Facebook friend. Oh, and if you're looking in, you want a tarot card reading, just say hi in the chat and I'll get you one. I'm just talking for now about our laws in Toronto, our driving laws, and how stringent they are. Because there's been a lot of pedestrian deaths over the last year or so. Like, we have an all-time high of pedestrian deaths and bicycle people getting hurt all the time and stuff. But a lot of the bicycle people don't follow the rules, so it's kind of um, a couple of bad apples because they have been putting in proper bike lanes with fencing and stuff for the bicycle people. So there's no reason for them to be on sidewalks anymore and stuff like that because they're making it safer for them. Anyways, don't if you come to Toronto, do not touch your phone. Just put it in the back in a bag in the back seat. Oh yeah, because I was starting to say that I had a Facebook friend last year. She was saying that she got pulled over by the cops because they said she was talking on her cell phone, or they thought she was texting right while she was driving. That's huge. No, like you go to jail. And she's like, no, I wasn't. And they were arguing with her, and she's like, my cell phone's in the back in my bag, and sure enough, she had put her cell phone in the purse in her back seat. And I actually know this particular person in real life, and I know that she's definitely wouldn't be yapping on the phone because she doesn't want to lose any $600. It wasn't that high back then. I think it was only $400 when they tried to bust her. But yeah, so when I heard that, I always drive now with my phone zipped in the knapsack, and especially since now that this new blitz has started, I'm not going to use my maps. I'll just get stuck in traffic or whatever. I don't care. Because $650 for talking on your cell phone is a pretty steep fine. And, but they're just trying to show like people weren't listening when the fine was only $100. You can drive down any street, you see people all the time just shooting the shit on their phones. And I'm like, what are you doing? And now, in Canada or in Ontario, I'm not sure about the rest of Canada. Actually, I only know about Toronto, really, to be honest. You can use the Bluetooth. We have the mounted things, and you can have the mounted things. I said you can touch it to turn it on and touch it to turn it off. And then if you have the Bluetooth, or even everything's like my new phone, I got the Samsung 8, and it's all voice activated. And my Samsung before that was voice activated. I just never set it up. I'm gonna have to, and I just say, hey, turn on the maps, and then everything should jingle and jangle and do its thing, and you shouldn't have to get busted by the cops. And the other thing the cops are cracking down on now, too, if you come to Toronto, you need to know this. You need to read the parking signs. It's brutal. It is absolutely brutal. It's important. And if you want a tarot card reading, just ask. Um, it, it, we have, traffic is insane in Toronto. It's brutal. Like Los Angeles has insane traffic too, and some other places do as well. But we're known around the world for our horrific traffic issues. And part of the problem is when we're downtown, they they have been working with different ways to try and deal with the traffic over the years, and so they've implemented like 10 or more years ago, there's rush hour parking. So if it's between 3:30 and 6:30 or whatever the sign says, and it says you can't park there because that's rush hour, no parking between 3:30 and 6:30, they mean it. Because one car parked on Queen Street at rush hour, just one car in 5 miles of Queen Street can completely screw up rush hour for everyone. And it's brutal. You're driving, and then you get blocked in by some stupid dude parking during rush hour, and then you're blocked in by a streetcar, and you can't pass the streetcar because there's people parking in the rush hour lane, and so no one's going anywhere because streetcars go like 1 mile an hour, and and now those fines. So that's no, maybe the cell phone is 650. I think that fine is $500 now. They cranked it way up. It's like, no, I think it's 300, maybe 350. Anyways, it's a few zeros. It's not any $50 fine like it used to be. I think it even used to be 20 like not that long ago. But it's like a couple $100, like about a minimum 350, I think. Might be four or five. Anyways, and so they were showing on the news yesterday, because people will stop, they put on their flashes, they'll run in for a coffee or run in to mail something, or they're picking someone up and waiting for them, whatever's happening. And they think they're only there for a minute or two, but just that minute or two creates chaos for the whole goddamn city. So yesterday they were showing people getting the tickets, and then if those people aren't back in their cars within like 30 seconds of the cop being there writing the ticket and putting it on, he calls for a tow truck. And so now these people are getting towed, so you'll come out from your Starbucks little run, and your car's gone. Like nobody hijacked it, it got towed away. And so not only do you have to pay you parked in the rush hour spot, now you have to pay the towing company as well. And so I think the towing is about $300, and you have your 350. So you're looking at 650, $700 for your stupid Starbucks coffee, right? So just really pay attention to the signs when you come to Toronto, especially for the next 2 weeks, because they're really cracking down. Because we got to stop all these pedestrian deaths. It's really horrific. All these people getting hit and killed. It's not even, and that those are, we know about the people who are dying, and then there's people who just get hit or dinged or whatever, and it's because people are texting and yapping on the phone and not paying attention, and they have to stop that, and they had a blitz last year, and it wasn't nearly like this one. It was, at the time, it felt severe. They were towing the cars on the rush hour zones and stuff. And that happens almost every day, anyways. But this is like they're hyper focused. Oh, and I should warn you too if you're coming to Toronto. And if you're watching and want a tarot card reading, just ask. Um, so if you think you're in the safety of your car and you're typing on your lap or whatever, this cops are going on streetcars because streetcars are higher than cars, and they're watching the traffic from the streetcar seats, and they're radioing ahead to cops who will then stop you and give you a ticket. And there are cops in the large trucks and large vans as well, undercover cars, and they're undercover cops. And I don't know if the cops on the streetcar are undercover or not, but yeah, so just don't do it. Let's make the city a safe place and get everything under control. I was alive long before cell phones were invented, and we did okay. We didn't have to talk in the car. I know sometimes, there's important things you want to deal with or are waiting for, or you're waiting for a call. Um, I've had a couple times where I was waiting for a call and I knew I was on the road like forever. But when the call came, I'd pull over and park and take the call. And that's what you're supposed to do. But don't pull over and park in the rush hour zone. Anyways, looks like no one wants a tarot card reading today, and I have a lot of work to do, as I always do. So it's 12:30 now. I've been on here almost half an hour, and maybe I scared people off because I wasn't talking astrology things, but talking about our Toronto Blitz and how to be an actor and all that. Just trying to mix it up a little bit. Oh, I had another beef. Maybe I'll talk another minute for a beef in case anyone else comes by for tarot card readings. Um, what was my beef? Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of you know I'm a big Star Wars nerd, right? I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I've been into Star Wars like my whole life. Not my whole life, but I was a teenager when I saw the first one because that's when it came out. And so, as a lot of you know, or maybe you don't know, there's been some backlash with The Last Jedi. And some of the backlash is anyways, there's backlash for The Last Jedi, and there's like all these YouTube channels now. There's millions of YouTube channels, and some are complaining about The Last Jedi, and some love it. Some think Star Wars is dead, some think it's still alive, and so on and so forth. And I watch a lot of these channels because it amuses me, and I like to see what people have to say, and so on. And some of these people are really clever and funny, and I've talked about that on here before. So, anyways, so I guess there was a fan film made. This dude went ahead and he made a movie about Darth Vader, and now everyone's all upset because Disney has claimed copyright for it because Disney now owns Star Wars, right? Lucasfilm sold Star Wars to Disney a while back, and it's blowing my mind because as a writer, I understand what copyright is, and I don't understand why these people are upset about Disney taking back their very own copyright that they paid a couple $1 billion for. Like, so I guess what's happening with this Vader movie is that it's on YouTube and it's had several million views. I personally haven't sat and watched it myself. I keep meaning to and I just haven't. And it's had a couple million views, and the dude who made it didn't monetize it because he knew it was a copyright thing, and he apparently did ask Lucasfilm for permission before he made it, if it'd be okay, if it'd be cool if he did this, and they said yeah, and that's fine, and he did, and it still sounds fine. So just because Disney's claiming copyright and presumably any monetization that may happen from that copyright, um, that's their prerogative. And I don't know why people are angry. This is why you should always, if you're going to put your heart and soul into creating art, maybe you should work on your own ideas and Then you won't run into copyright problems, right? I mean, I know way back when Star Wars first started, you weren't allowed to dress like Star Wars people at conventions and stuff. And you definitely weren't allowed to dress like Disney characters at all, ever. You'd get shut down. So times have changed over the last, 30, 40 years, obviously. But back when I was like in university and stuff, and what they now called fan fiction, where people write about maybe they'll write about Luke Skywalker, or maybe write about a Walking Dead guy or whatever, and they have them do things in their own imagination. Um, and now we call it fan fiction, and sometimes people put this online and stuff. But the thing is, now it's looser because before all those sites and people would get shut down and sent copyright notices and stuff because it is stealing other people's creations. It is. So I just don't understand why these YouTubers are all freaking out. And I'm also surprised at how far a lot of these YouTubers got to go over the last year or two, with some of the stuff they're doing. Um, I love to watch spoofs. I love nothing more than spoofs and the how it should have ended things and all these the guy who does the pitches, and oh, there's so much good stuff there. And so I think some things, copyright is murky, because I think if you're doing satire or spoofs or reviews, definitely you're allowed to use a specific amount of footage or quotations or whatever. But then if you abuse that by just making your own Darth Vader movie, you you got to accept the consequences. And it's even, a lot of the fan art where, you have Rey and Kylo Ren making out or whatever. Like, that's all copyright infringement. But I think they just let it go. Oh, hey, hi, Void Thought. How are you today? I'm just babbling on here in the world. I'll pull a tarot card for you for a tarot card reading. How's that sound? Let me get my cards here. Now, speaking of copyright, oh, good, good. I can't actually show you the cards. I don't think you've come by before. I don't think. I've been doing this almost a year, so I don't. Okay, good. And so I can't actually show you the card because it's copyright infringement, like I was just talking about. And but I will tell you the card. So the deck I use is Rider Waite, Rider hyphen Waite, and you can Google the card, and you'll see the picture. Okay. So let me pull a card. What's your message of the day for Void Thought? Ooh, you have the Fool. Fool. The Fool with your void thought. No, this is an excellent card. So the Fool card, it's a picture of a guy walking and he has like the hobo stick, the stick with the bag on it. Oh, so you know what the card is. Okay, good. And then for anyone that might be watching it, there's a little dog barking at him. Oh, I I will finish this and then I'll have to hang up and take that call. 'Cause that is a call I need to take. Um, it's my son. I don't know if you can hear the Mario theme. That's copyright too. Stop! Okay, so the Fool card is the first and last card of the tarot deck. Oh, he really needs to talk to me. Okay, so you have the Fool card. You're on life's grand adventure. And, okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to hang up now. Bye. Thank you for coming by. You have an excellent, yeah. You're on a great adventure. Open heart, open mind. Take risks, take chances, but don't take foolish chances and fall off the cliff. Trust your gut. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you for coming by.